playing against your heroes here, FlyQuest versus T1.
In your first international coming through for this bottom lane duo. Let's see how they go. T1 on blue, Fly on red. Got banned away. Bwipo gets instant respect as we move into this 14.8 draft. The Kalista as well against Fly, when we know some of their greatest successes, I think, have been on stronger 2v2s through the LCS.
It's interesting, yeah, because Kalista also, both games from Guma yesterday, really effectively used by them. They're going to be able to go for the Senna side of it this time around. And you know, Karia's Tahm Kench is insane.
Yep.
Actually, one of his highest win rate champions, even though he has massive, massive win rates on most of them. So T1 bottom lane here. Obviously, it's very flexible, and you can put a lot of things with the Senna. Let's see what FlyQuest want to try and answer with here, though. We've had a lot of Varus come through, and honestly, I don't see a reason to change it. Masu's really comfortable on this champion.
Yep.
He also played a bunch of North America, you know, played it through till finals. So get them on something comfortable, and having the Nautilus actually banned out here is not really going to be hurt them too much, I think.
You don't think? It's Busia's most played, 6 games so far.
Yeah, but after watching the ones on the international stage, it was looking a little rough, so maybe it'll be good to change it up, you know? Orianna, though, is a really, really big takeaway. Obviously, talked about it last time, but it was Jensen's 100th Orianna game with a 75% win rate.
Wow.
Faker as well went with 2 Orianna games yesterday, so he's going to be on the Azir this time around. And there's that Tahm Kench that we were talking about, one of Karia's best.
As you said, comfort comes through, and Senna Tahms from the east look very different. We saw it only yesterday with Jackie Love and Mako playing the laning phase so well. They're going against the Varus Renata from FlyQuest running the 2v2.
And the other cool thing that we saw with the Senna Tahm Kench is that when you're doing the farming Tahm Kench, you can, and very commonly, take the teleport, which is super, super effective in these lane swaps. If you're not sure, it allows you that extra global to be able to correct a lot of situations. So we'll see about that one as well. Lane swaps, of course, are going to be very prominent at this entire tournament.
That was a small grid. No one saw it at home, but is that like a, I like lane swaps, Kobe?
I mean, I think it's kind of fun when they're not fully figured out, if they're just sprinkled in, but I think it's going to be like the go-to here. So
okay.
I would prefer more interesting actual lane combat, but it is really fun to track each and every minion wave and each and every recall timer. Namely, in this series, it's going to be looking at the top laners, especially on those lane swaps, to see how much experience they're able to scrounge up, because that has been one of the biggest advantages. But right now, we're onto the ban phases here for second phase. Both of them targeting out junglers. AD junglers are running rampant right now. Xin Zhao, obviously, is the other primary one that is still up.
What else do you want to say? Sejuani also a note with the Azir comp for T1 as well. Jarvan, smart ban as well, considering immobile carries on T1. The FlyQuest doing their homework. I like that you mentioned the Xin Zhao. Might be a jungle on 4 here angle for FlyQuest, or you leave counter pick for Bwipo. We know they play for top side.
Yeah, definitely save the counter pick for Bwipo here versus Zaves, even if they are going to opt into the Swapperoni. So let's see here, T1. What are they actually even worried about protecting right now? Going back and forth, taking the full timer. I kind of would pay more respect to Bwipo, yeah, and they go for another top lane ban, but the Udyr here. Okay, we haven't had too much focus on like the Scion thus far, so not too many teams actually that worried about that angle of the lane swap. Graves is kind of an interesting hover, even though I don't think it's going to get locked in. Just because on this patch, Lane Graves was buffed because they buffed his crit scaling. So maybe, oh yes, it does get locked in. Oh my, yes, I'm so excited. Okay, so we actually have Insanity, a player in North America that plays a bunch of mid lane Graves. And so a lot of our solo laners have dabbled in and played a bunch of the solo lane Graves as well. Obviously, you know, it has been used before and in the past was very meta. But on this patch, got buffed. I really want to see the Stormrazor rush build for him, and roaming around, very, very effective here. It's got really good wave control. The ultimate as well, pretty safe AoE damage, so Definitely opening up some extra angles here for FlyQuest, and we get the Zac as well. So Graves jungle.
Okay.
I was hoping, or I mean, they could swap.
They could
really
technically swap. They could.
But I'm assuming it's now going to be the Graves jungle. So we probably won't get a crit build or anything like that, and we'll probably get a regular lethality build if it Inspired's going to save
but
it.
still, what a spanner thrown into the works. I mean, Inspired we look at as a carry jungler. In NA, I know a lot of people talk about him being selfish at times, but I call him flexible. I think for Inspired, historically, I've seen this guy pop off, bring series over the line on things like Viego, things that can carry as well, like Graves if it starts getting rolling. FlyQuest throwing a spanner in the work overall for draft #1.
Yeah, I mean, he's extremely flexible, like you're saying. All three of his games so far at MSI were pure tanks, rushing Knight's Vow on Sejuani and Maokai. But like you're saying, he's also very famous for those carries. One of the big reasons he, got LEC MVP is Viego play, getting the famous pentakill. Oh man, very excited to get into this one though. Of course, T1 are for sure huge favorites coming into it. But as Masu said, for FlyQuest, a learning experience, and they're very much looking forward to this. So let's see what they can get done.
I mean, again, don't doubt FlyQuest. I'm just going to come through. I'm going to be on your bandwagon, Kobe, because at the very least,
welcome.
We know for T1, yeah, Estral tested them a little bit, but let's be real. They're having a bit of a field day. They could do what they wanted. They know in that best of 3 that they weren't only favorites, but they had the micro, they had the macro, they had everything over that team. The biggest thing here about FlyQuest is that their top side can be really, really dangerous. Now, it's not Bwipo on the Urgot once again, but we do have Inspired on a carry. We have setup from Bwipo as well, and he's going into the Ornn matchup, which Zac can really shred in the 1v1 with his max health damage.
And I would definitely keep my eyeballs on the invade to look for these lane stop wards.
Good point.
Because having an Ornn lane is very beneficial if you're able to grab lane swap, and you have the Senatom Kench, the extra flexibility that we talked about. Yep. So definitely going to be looking at the level 1 for the invade to track these wards and see how they can react. That's one of the fun things too, since lane swaps aren't, well, never mind, they have completely. It's not fun. Right. I'm trying to convince myself, oh yeah.
That answers the earlier question, I guess.
But
how do you feel about it?
But it does highlight problem solving in real time.
True.
And teams really being reactive to every bit of information as you get it, and to each wave state as you see that information. So that is one of the things, especially if you're going up against T1 world champions. Let's see. No, looks like no invades quite yet though, and we even get the defensive ward on top side. Okay, nice.
Let's just see. Zayas took a quick reset after dropping the ward. We'll just have to see if that rotates. Just a quick reminder for everyone at home, qualification on the line here as well. For FlyQuest T1, the winner of this series, straight away, locked in, don't have to worry anymore, right into the second bracket, right into what we'd call the main stage. For T1 a shoe-in, I mean, we're right where we expected. The script's been written, hasn't it? All premier regions, all major regions have made it to this point. And as T1 just zoning out, looking to see what FlyQuest are doing again, as we talked about the invade. 3 members walking down bot. Jensen is matching here as well. As Fabusio and Masu just going to spot this out and try and get a beneficial trade on Guma and Keria here in this level 1 center and Tarm. And they're doing exactly that, as it looks like it will be standard lanes here, which of everyone at home, they're probably smiling.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about here with Busto and Masio looking up to Guma and Keria so much.
Yeah.
Pretty nice experience to be able to get to lane against some of their heroes that really inspired them to become pros in the first place. And they got some decent health trades there as they come down the river. Of course, Senatom Kench does have pretty good sustain.
Yep.
So we'll see about the push on bottom side as well. Jensen moving up on Faker, trying to make use of the early Orianna range.
I mean, for this pick, we talked about it in draft. It's going to be the priority, we know, for Faker as well. Same deal here. Trades in topside, by the way, have already gotten a bit frisky, but Bwipo going to hit level 2 first. And also note that he gets a lot of his health back with some of these extended trades, as you can see with the bloblets on the ground. Zayas zoned away. Really nice start from the FlyQuest top laner.
Yeah, Bwipo getting some pushing done for himself. Of course, both junglers also starting in the top quadrants of their jungles, because it is a tank v tank matchup on top side. But Inspired, as you can see, making a little bit of a venture towards the top side. That is a building wave, and that was a pretty impactful health trade that you were mentioning. Uh-oh, Zayas.
Slowly does it. Zayas going to bellows breath. Here comes Slingshot as well. Inspired in. End of the line for Zayas. Exactly that. Goes into cell division. Bwipo's going to be fine. He also gets a shove in. Beautiful first blood.
All right, it cost them the flash and the passive for Zac. And it does mean that Owner's going to finish up his full clear, so let's see what the answer is on bottom side. But FlyQuest getting first blood versus T1 here, already big. The bottom lane's got to know, though, that Owner's going to be done with his full clear now, so they have to be worried.
Oh, Jensen getting good trades as well. So far, the laning phase starting out in game 1 for FlyQuest is great, but as you said, Owner, they had to know from the Fly 2v2 as Massive pops the ghost, runs into Owner, and drops a ward, just spotting him on the exit.
Yeah, because they were able to delay it a little bit there. The recall timer, T1 know that Inspired coming back from base should be about 10 seconds out of base and will be on the way. And so a little bit hard to kind of nail down Busio and Masu with Masu popping his ghost there.
Right.
And so they don't want to wait around and have Inspired come over with the Graves to counter them. So nice little recall.
Good trade from Zeus in the meanwhile on the top side. I'm waiting for that pillar to come down as well. Searing charge damage. Bellows Breath, is it there? No. There's no combination, but Zeus at least getting some revenge when Whippo uses TP to get back to lane.
Exactly. Used his TP, used his passive, used his flash. Whippo doesn't have very many resources at all. Now there's going to be a big wave building on top side. Yeah, it's such a hard situation. He doesn't want to drop it, but he kind of has to. If they see him, they will for sure go for him. But Owner's going for the recall. Okay, they're going to find him.
Anything. Owner sees him slingshot away, but Zeus gets full access, and echoing your point there, Kobe, more time with the turret. Zeus going to get a turret play from this, and look at the denial of this massive minion wave.
Exactly. You can already see the experience difference right now is ballooning. That purple bar under the champion icon there for Ornn. Zeus now dings over to level 5. Inspired comes up. Inspired wants to help him get in.
But Owner's behind him. I mean, there's going to be a searing charge. He flashes away, gets up to the wave. Good kiting away. As Whippo now rejoins the fray as well. Minion wave not going to go to the wayside. This is nice at least for a recovery, but losing the flash from Inspired. Feels like top is starting to get that counter bleed out.
Yeah, they really did not want to give up that giant multi-stacked wave right there. And so Inspired does go offer his flash as well as a way to get them back in and at least soak some of it up so it's not a complete disaster.
Owner getting something as well. Remember, with that push in, looks like he sapped some experiences. Inspired is going to be sharing his vision. Thanks to T1 dropping that ward. I believe that would have been Faker. And speaking of which, Kerry and Guma are going to get this push into the bottom side while Busio can't hold it off for now. Look at Masu. He made a return to base. This shove's going to come through, and about a minion wave and a half is going to be denied from Fly as well.
Yep, comes back with his recurve bow, got his refillable potion. Honestly, too, after the Graves, 3 camp gank topside for Inspired, you do have to worry about losing out. Hold on, let me turn this.
You're right. You're fiddling. Oh.
Draco's in my ear. You have to worry about getting counter jungled after that if you do one of those, quick ganks. But able to clean up his bottom side as well after the bottom lane did a little bit of vision control for him and spotted Owner.
Grub's just up, by the way, at the 6-minute mark here. Spotted out by Whippo, or rather control watered down. I want to note that with these backs, Inspired and Owner, both with recurve bow, serrated Dirk as well, a lot of damage here. But as Owner starts this up, you can see Inspired back towards his red side of the jungle, thinking about getting over so he can get that experience for the singular grub and also stop the stacking here early from T1.
And it's very easy to walk by grubs and steal one with Smite, but Inspired actually goes over a ward, so Faker knows he's not going to, drop anything here with the pass from Inspired, plus Owner is going to be able to finish up those Void Grubs, no problem for him. And again, pinging up here on top side on a giant stacked up wave in the face of Whippo. No level 6 for Whippo either.
And here comes Call the Forge God, no cell division either. He's going to get double knocked up. Bellows Breath clapped down. Shoot, T1's top, back in action.
Huge stuff here for T1. Yeah, observers know, zooming in on all of the minions dying, the experience, the gold. We're used to seeing top laners so far behind because of lane swaps. This is not because of the lane swap. They invested so much into the early gank on the recall and having it pushed back. Whippo is just so behind now.
Getting shattered in what is now a 3-plate lead over none in the top side, even after the first blood went down. As you said, stemming the bleeding in top, but I think more importantly, the fact that Whippo's behind, whatever the champion is, he feels like the lifeblood of this team. I know you've been watching this team throughout the start of the year. Him and Inspired, to me, have been the biggest standouts, as we've already seen in this tournament. A very different look to start off game 1.
Yeah, luckily for them, Whippo, at least this time around, is on, just frontline tank, and Zach's job is just to bounce around.
Very true.
So he will be able to operate on a lower economy, though you don't want to, and you're in the tank v tank matchup.
Yep.
Plus, it also did take some farming time away from Inspired, the investment that they used to have him go up there. So it definitely is going to throw that plan through a little bit of a loop. They've got the backup though. Masu has been pretty good thus far on the Varus, so we'll see what they're able to get done. And of course, you know, as you could have told from the lethal tempo, is going the on-hit Varus build, since it's going to have to get through some very, very tanky frontliners, the Ornn and the Tahm Kench.
I think as well, we've already seen, you know, Tahm's survivability in fights without that constant DPS. Reminded me of yesterday in the top esports game. And it's very hard to see how they can actually pursue an elongated fight. Now, I want to quickly mention, next grub's coming up in a minute 50. Dragon was already started by FlyQuest. Do I even have time? I mean, Wibo and Zeus just hitting heads once again. But those neutral objectives, it seems like, could be the setup for T1. Continue going towards bot side. Say that because there's a lot of pings coming down, a lot of map movement here to see if they can punish Busio Masu in the long run. Chains of Corruption will come through as well. There's good damage on the carrier, but Owner and Guma are here just in case it goes any further. We go back top side. The boys battling it out. Let's bounce. I love that take matchup.
Here comes Graves. They're not done.
You're right. Inspired going to make it even more fun, but Call the Forge got on the waves there. Bellows press its flash. Whippo's flash goes into cell division, but the center ulti slows down the play. The miniwave's gone. Inspired can't do anything. And Zeus, we call it a 1v2 as he won't get out. Zeus takes it, and we're all aboard.
Choo-choo! T1 hype train's in full effect here in Chengdu. Oh man, Zeus is just going to stomp.
And it's not stopping on the top side. A flash away from Kerry to get away from the hostile takeover. Good poke damage on Masu, and Owner's here as well. He's got a reset waiting for him in Masu if he gets on top, but he threatens, they force him back. And T1's early game is taken off.
I can already see people tweeting out the MJ memes of, you know, they ganked Zeus early and he took that personally.
Yeah.
And then absolutely just destroys the game now on the Ornn. He got so many turret plates that denied so many waves of experience to Bwipo, and then he wins the 2v1 under tower with the cell division also being popped again. Hysterics. It is looking pretty painful on both sides now as Guma and Keria have pushed back in. They've gotten a turret play for themselves as well.
And the damage coming out, that's why I said Eastern Tahm Kench center lanes are so oppressive to watch. Masu getting low, misses the poke. Guma with a great sidestep, and he keeps walking up. He keeps getting free souls. Already at 49, 50 souls at 10 minutes in the game. Another one to admire as Guma just does it better.
Yeah, it looks like Owner's going to be able to finish up on all 6 Void Grubs as well. The buffed up damage from those on the patch going to feel pretty nice for T1. Teleport comes in.
It's Faker coming in. Off the side lane. Kerry, oh, it's a double. It's a ruse. They try to predict. Jensen flashes away. Flash from Faker, though. Sends him right back in. The Shockwave's only a one-man as Faker sidesteps it. So beautifully done. So nicely synced up. And T1's macro again, looking red hot.
The double TP from the Tahm Kench comes in as well. And Faker versus Jensen all-time is 8-0 in Faker's favor. And he is able to clap Jensen one more time here on stage with the extra Void Grub buff as well. Gets a turret blade after it. Wow.
And you know, I should correct myself. I said, oh, T1's macro great again. I feel like their early game has been talked about internationally by analysts. It's not their strong point. It's not a clean team like Gen G. We know this team can always win team fights. They're always so great in the late game, decision-making around things like Baron. But T1 here in the early game, shorn up what that top side was early for FlyQuest. Have shifted gears and in bot as well, winning the 2v2. Now mid in a detriment with a 10 CS lead and a kill on top. Nash is completed for Faker too. Such a great looking early game when we see Azir, Ornn, Senna, Tahm. It sets up for things to come with so much scaling in such little time.
Yeah, and because as we mentioned, you know, and Inspired using some of his early time up there, you see Owner with his advantage in jungle too, the Viego.
Yep.
Owner's Viego yesterday, or the quadra kill the day when he was able to pull it off was extremely impressive, so I am quite scared for FlyQuest here. Owner going to look to visit mid lane again as well. He does have flash, could go for the stun.
Just waiting to see Faker's ulti. Nice HUD, isn't it? You got a countdown, 5 seconds for that shuffle to come through. FlyQuest spotted on the bottom side as Dragon number 2 spawns. Ona committing to going. Goomer and Kerry are here as well. Numbers advantage for the time being. There's a flash and Ona is out immediately. Busio wanted in so hard for that one, but he doesn't find it and now is summonless.
Yeah, goes for the flash play, doesn't quite grab it. They're really grasping for opportunities though, because they can feel this game, running away from them quite quickly here. So they feel the pressure to make some plays.
There we go onto Jensen. I mean, this is why the matchup slaps so hard. Faker goes all in. Ona's there to support. And it's never just Faker, is it? Someone always by his side, whether it's Carrier, whether it's Ona, and Inspired now getting the full face of the medal as well. Licky Tongue in action, and Inspired flashing away to survive away from Givyushi, but he's over the wall. He's got the range. Busio up next. He's silent. He goes into hostile mode, but it ain't gonna take, is it? Ona with a reset now. The flying through. Ona gets another, and another's coming up. Give him a double, and we're set up for Ona's Viego. We're set up for an early game of the gods. T1 are just that good, aren't they? Yeah, T1 warmed up already, and they're coming into this series hot. They're going to grab a Dragon plus mid-secondary turret before 14 minutes. That's quite a quick pace. Okay, now I'm just going to look at the clock. Thankfully, we only have to make it like 3 more minutes, and then I can still meme. Oh, you can! So as long as we get past that 16:47, I think that's our #1 goal, right? Attaboy. But yeah, as he said, Oner didn't even have to use his flash here, so he's got it for later on for the skirmish on the bottom side. Yep. And this is where it got really impressive. Carry came in, they were trying to fish around and find Inspired down here, chase him down. They already took out Jensen mid lane, so they know that there was no support going to come through for them. There goes Oner, uses his flash to get that engaged. The eat from Tom Kench denying that Renata ultimates, so that Viego is able to get right back out, and then Oner gets his resets. Got chunked a little bit low, but kept getting the souls, easily able to pull it off. And let's revisit again. In this 2v2, you talked about how important it is that Kerry has something like Tom. His success rate on it before. Kerry is showing up massive once more, and I think there's a lot of conversation in the air as well as to what Kerry's going to look like in this tournament. We've got a lot more normal engaged support. It's not wacky like Ashe isn't being let through. We're not getting like those Caitlyn Lux lanes as well. Like Nico support and Rumble support like he played in already in the first 2 games. I guess we're getting a better answer, are we? Yeah, Carrier has looked really good, as have the rest of T1. From this point on out, it's extremely easy for them to end out the game, especially with the aforementioned 6 Void Glove buff. Now they've got the Herald as well they can drive in, but really early pace that they're on right now. And FlyQuest kind of already probably trying to think about things to change for game #2 here. This is a series, and this is also not an elimination series. This series is to get out, so winner will promote. And you got 2 chances as well, right? That's a good thing about FlyQuest regardless. Like, I don't want to sell them short. I still believe game 2 provides as many opportunities as this one did, but anything you want to touch on for the draft? Anything that you're like, man, I want to see this go? I mean, it's definitely going to be gameplay. Definitely going to be gameplay here that changes the look and what they're going to have to go to first. Okay. Worth asking regardless. I'm glad that we got a little taste of Graves. I was getting so excited for like, oh man, the patch changes. Maybe with the attack speed and crit differences, it would be different, but it's the same old lethality jungle one, and T1 looking to go straight through the front door here, Hysterics. Yeah, let's hope it's not in 15 seconds time, Kobe, because otherwise you're going to have real problems with the community. Call the Forge God under turret. Massive and Busio are going to get healed away, but this Dive Nova, Zayas is level 12 as they charge on him. Whippo looks for the counter angle. The last punch in such an early game. He bounces, he drops, he jumps in, but Carrier does it better. The frog runs in, the shockwave is good from Jensen, but there's not enough damage. Masu can't get the reset from the bailout, and Carrier can't be stopped. It's another one. The guy looks like he is playing Nautilus with an R button. It's insane, it is nuts, and you can laugh at Mad Lions, but let's be real, Kobe, FlyQuest ain't far off. You can say that again. T1 are blasting them here. Holy. This is domination from what was an early opener. Looks so beautiful from FlyQuest to absolutely nothing. FlyQuest have gotten nothing in this game. 13-1. Nexus dropped in 17.5 minutes.